are a couple of wonderful connections between my role at the Vatican Observatory and my own history and the Maria Mitchell Observatory. In her memoirs, Maria Mitchell describes how in the 1850s, she became the first woman to visit the observatory then in Rome that was run by the Jesuits, the forerunner of the modern Vatican Observatory. And she has to describe in the enormous detail all the strings that were pulled, all the letters that were written to allow her to visit the observatory. The piece that's missing, the piece that I don't think she realized, the observatory in Rome in those days was built on the roof of a church. It was actually built on a roof of the church designed by Orazio Grassi, who was a rival of Galileo's. Galileo's famous book, The Assayer, was written to counter the ideas of Grassi. And it was built on this roof because it was the church, if you've ever been to Rome, that does not have a dome. You go inside and it looks like it has a dome until you go a little bit more, look up and realize it's painted in perspective. Because there was no dome, though there were pillars to support the dome, Angelo Secchi built his telescope on one of those pillars. So to get to that telescope, she had to go into the sacristy, which in those days women were not allowed in. What's more, the city rules, typical of European cities of 175 years ago, meant that women were not allowed on the street after dark. So she had to observe Venus and Jupiter and the moon during the daylight. Nonetheless, she was there, and she also spoke highly of the pioneering work that Father Angelo Secchi did, inventing the spectroscopy that was later carried to its fruition by Annie Jump Cannon and the other women at the Harvard College Observatory. My own personal history with the Maria Mitchell Observatory comes from visiting a colleague of mine at Yale, a woman named Martha Schaefer. She and I wrote a textbook together, and she and her husband were at Yale at the time. And we had known each other as when we were graduate students at MIT. She says, Guy, you've got to come. We're going to go see the Nutcracker, and I've got a date for you. I'm going, I'm a Jesuit now. I don't need a date. And they said, no. It's a wonderful woman. You'll really like her. And they were right. My date for that evening was Dorrit Hoffleit, who was 92 years old at the time, and who could remember people like Hertzsprung and Russell. She said of my friend Brad, oh, I like him. He reminds me so much of, Henry Norris Russell of the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. All of this is to remind us that astronomy is looking at the universe at a sky that is the same over all of us, no matter what gender, no matter what culture, no matter what religion, no matter what century. The sky is something that brings us all together. And so I would like us to open this event with a moment of silence, thinking of the creation that we are all so privileged to enjoy. A creation that is enormous and remarkable and interesting, and something we can actually understand even with our limited intellects, and something which above all else is beautiful and good. Let us give thanks to its creator, and never let us forget why we find joy in and hope in this universe and its creation. Amen. Have a wonderful evening.